want to do a little segment here about one of my heroes in business who I feel that more people should know about. And his name is William Edwards Deming. And there's a lot of gurus in the business world now. And I say the word guru in the sense of, I guess you can come up with your own way of how you interpret that for you. But there's a lot of people out there who have a lot of good advice. There's a lot of people out there who have a lot of bad advice. We're in an era now where advice is easily transmitted, and you'll find all sorts of types out there. Content, it's really, really an incredible time. And obviously, I think that's a pretty fantastic thing. And that's why I'm here. But one of the things that can sometimes be an issue is sort of cutting through the noise a little bit and finding the things that really are sort of foundational bedrock for business and helping people to succeed. And for that, I think the story of William Edwards Deming is incredibly important. So this will be a little bit longer video, but I want to describe who he is and why we'd care to know. So William Edwards Deming was a businessman around the 1940s. And when the World War II ended, he was tasked with going to Japan and conducting a census. And you can imagine back then, we didn't actually know, the world didn't actually know the results of what a nuclear bomb would create. So he was kind of laughed out of boardrooms in America. And I sort of imagine at the time he got sort of the short stick, and somehow they sent him over to Japan to conduct a census. Well, over a period of time, he became more and more involved in the country of Japan. And you have to keep in mind this country, the reason they were part of the reason they were so adamant and energetic and aggressive in World War II was because before the war, they were in a very, very difficult spot. They'd had a famine, and it was the country as a whole was in a hole. They were in a really, really difficult spot before the war. After the war, oh my gosh, it was even worse. They didn't even have a phone system that worked. They had no idea, the US had no idea how many people were on the island, and it was in complete disarray. So they needed to prepare something to get Japan back on its feet. But what's so interesting is that William Edwards Deming went out there, or Deming, as I'll call him for short. He went out there to conduct a census, and he became more and more involved in the business side of things. And he is largely credited for being responsible for what we now call the Japanese economic miracle. And I say largely credited, his ideas, his influence played a very, very significant part in taking this country that had been blasted pretty much to the Stone Age. And in 20 to 30 years, they became the third largest world economic superpower. That's why they call it the Japanese economic miracle. So a pretty incredible thing. And when we see things like that, we often attribute it to people doing something or something else. But if you were to actually dig into the minds of the people who are quote unquote responsible, you would find typically that what they discovered is something on the lines of a principle, a business principle, a principle of human nature, a principle of the universe, whatever, something that's ultimately consistent and can be relied upon to produce a consistent result. And this is what Deming has done. So Deming, in his work, he was a very compassionate leader. He was a very thoughtful leader, and he looked at an organization as a whole. And he's credited with what we call total quality management, which is a philosophy that's geared towards ensuring quality exists for the customer. Not I guess the best way to describe it is he felt that your system was exactly designed to give you whatever you have right now, including the defects that would show up at the end. And that if you adjust the system, you can create the system, i.e., the business, so that at the end, only quality exists. And that is a much better way to go about things. And because of the way he did that, obviously Japan is very well known for high quality products. And between the cars, all the different things that they've produced, their manufacturing basically took off, and everyone regardless of what had happened in World War II, wanted these Japanese products because they lasted and they provided immense value, because the manufacturing systems and the businesses related to them were designed to produce value for the customer. And so his ideas, which we say they're his ideas, but the principles that he relied on to produce these results are principles that almost any business can tap into. Focusing on quality, focusing on ensuring that the customer has an excellent experience, most notably focusing on not missing any opportunities to see what we're doing well or we're doing poorly, so that we can build in the right way so our business can function in the way it needs to function. So we're going to do a little section here called the Daily Deming and kick it off. But we're always going to reference this video in case you're brand new to the channel and you haven't seen anything about Deming before. And we'll provide resources along the way. But look out for that. I hope you find it very interesting as we explore William Edwards Deming's principles in business that led to the Japanese economic miracle. Thanks so much for watching.